right, everyone. I hope everybody is going to stay back till the award ceremony, and I'm expecting 100% attendance because we have more power-packed discussion in line, and we are moving forward with the panel discussion, the very first of today. The topic will be burnout versus productivity. Navigating mental health and workplace pressure in era of high output expectations. The moderator for this session will be Mr. Abhay Kapoor, CHRO, Virtura Technologies. Let me give a small brief about our moderator. Mr. Abhay Kapoor is a seasoned HR leader with over 28 years of rich cross-industry experience, spearheading people-first strategies at the board level. He is widely recognized as technology and transformation strategist committed to driving enterprise excellence through innovation and purpose-driven leadership. His expertise spans a wide range of domains, including people strategy, process excellence, HR, digitization, organization development, and strategic employee relations. Mr. Abhay has made a significant impact across diverse sectors such as e-commerce, internet, automotive, pharma, electronics, consumer goods, retail, engineering, glass, power, IT, and ITES, working with large Indian enterprises and global MNCs from the US, Europe, Japan, and Korea, as well as high-growth startups. Now, it's time to introduce the panelists for this session. We will be joined by Ms. Seema M., Head Talent Management and Learning and Development, DDDC Express Limited, followed by Ms. Neetu Rani, Head of HR, Nipro Medical India, followed by Mr. Satish Mohapatra, EVP HR, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, and last but not least, Ms. Parul Arora, Head HR, Talent Management, Innodata Incorporation. With this, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite the entire panel on the dais with some energy. Everyone, please, can we give a huge round of applause to the moderator and to all the panel members, and get ready for another insightful session. And let me tell you, we have invited these experts from their respective fields to join in and share their knowledge, their experience with us here today. So let's, can we have the entire panel on the dais? With a huge round of applause, everyone, and I'm expecting everybody, please be with us throughout the day.
So let's start. Good morning, and happy to see the house full with the audience. So that shows the relevance of the topic and the kind of enthusiasm people have on different kind of learning and development initiatives. And thanks to Gainiskill for inviting us today for this panel discussion. And welcome all my co-panelists, Satish, Seema, Parul, and Neetu. In this interesting panel discussion, and I'm sure that it is going to benefit all of us in one or other way. So mental health, productivity, and burnout. I think these are the words which we all have been hearing over the last couple of years. I remember when I started my career, say around 3 decades back, maybe. These words were not very prevalent, and the only thing which we focused, and we used to focus on how to increase the productivity, how to create a high performance culture in the organization, and in a journey towards that over a period of time, I believe the organization to achieve the excellence, to beat the competition, to enhance their reach to the global economy, have gone through a lot of changes in our work environment and work culture. And we're in a culture of high performance and productivity has created some stress among the employees and different stakeholders. So it's not only limited to employees. Having worked with large customer-based organization, I have seen it that, sorry, the stress is created uh, across multiple stakeholders who are attached with the organization. So how do we deal with this burnout? How do we move or balance between a culture of high performance to the employee well-being? How do we deal with the culture of hustle to the culture of more sustainable performance? So these are the couple of topics which we would like to deliberate with our panelists. And uh, moving forward with the topic, I would like to understand from Satish that how they are dealing with difference between the high performance, high productivity, and employee well-being, and how are they balancing it out?
So thank you, Abhay, and thanks Gain Skills for having me here. Uh, the first question about how do you balance as organizations, actually is the balance is never in your hands, either as organizations or as employees. We have to create that balance, and that is the first understanding. And why I say so, I'll explain at both first individual level, then organization level. And we know that some of you who have studied psychology also know that actually some amount of stress is needed in everyday life. We associate mental well-being with the opposite of that, which the first word comes to our mind is stress. Now, is stress a wrong thing? We have over a period of time developed a negative manifestation of the word, projection of the word stress in our minds. But some amount of stress is always good, that's what I believe in. It's called eustress. If you can Google this word, there is a lot of research documentation available on this. That's just the right amount of stress to make you going. Yeah, but how much we use it and abuse it is the question when it comes to organizations. And there, you spoke about. I think you are. I will try to answer it in the context of my industry and my organization. So let's talk it at three level: industry level and organization level. What's the situation? Why does high performance, the need for balancing high performance versus mental well-being come in the first place? It will not come in if the organization is not growing very fast. So for automobile industry, and I represent Maruti Suzuki India Limited, we are the number one passenger car maker in India, 42% market share, manufacture 2 million cars in a year, all those you are aware about. What I want to tell you is, with all this growing market, we still have around 35 cars per 1,000 people in India. Whereas in a developed country like US, it is 600 cars per 1,000 people. Which means, as we aim to become a developed country, our government says we should become one by 2047, right? So by then, we actually have to grow 20 times. This industry has to grow 20 times more, which means there is a capacity of 20 times more. And in that process, all the auto companies, not just my company, they want to make more cars, design more cars and sell more cars. So like we are making 2 million cars in a year now. It took us 40 years to reach there. And you know what's our target? To make 4 million cars in next 5 years. Every year, 4 million cars by 2030. So what took us 40 years, we want to do it in 5 years. So this means high targets, high volumes. But the question is, does it necessarily have to mean high stress? Yeah, and that is where comes in the 2-3 things that the organization, as an organization, we are trying to do. We are not perfect. Auto industry has the what should I say? It's not well known for work-life balance, and the typical complaint is about long working hours. We also had that. Yeah, we have a long working hour, and on an average, beyond those 9 hours 45 minutes, employees would work 28 minutes extra every day, every Maruti Suzuki employee. So now to do that, to deal with that, we did a few things. One, some things on the ground, something at the mind. On the ground, what we started with, we said, okay, let's introduce at least flexi shifts. so that somebody can come at 8, somebody can come at 9:30, and they can finish their time. Then the next step was to introduce work from home, which was actually an alien concept in automobile industry and also in our company, because we have been busy making cars, making cars. We want people to come to office every day to make more cars. But people also are human beings and they have balance. So then the next one that we have now gone up to a stage in that ladder is we now have a core working hour of 10 to 6. People can come anytime, go anytime. I mean, I can go from 10 to 6 as well today, only working 6 hours and not 9 or 45 minutes. As long as I balance it, over a period of time, a week or a month. So that gives the power back to the people to balance their life. Next is we have been a very talking culture. When you are execution focused and you are number one car maker, more cars, more demand, the culture becomes top down and very talking culture. We wanted to become a listening culture. So we invested a lot on listening platforms, digital and human both. Yeah, today we have a chief listening officer who's a digital persona. Yeah, and she talks to all employees through Microsoft Teams on different milestones, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days of their career. Somebody gets promoted, somebody has a job change, somebody has a manager change, somebody returns from maternity leave. It asks them different questions, finds out who's at high risk, who's medium risk, who's low risk. And with all the high risk and medium risk people, we conduct stay interviews rather than exit interviews, which are meaningless. So these are a couple of examples I gave, which we are trying to do and learn and do as a large organization, manufacturing, high pressure environment to make lives better for people. There are more like EAP, which I'll share later on in the interest of time. So that's all. Back to you, Abhay.
Thanks, Satish. I think that gives a good perspective. How are we moving from 9 to 6 culture and creating a high performance environment to more caring environment where we listen to the people, voice of the employees, and collect their feedback and act upon that. I think that is one of the right approach to deal with the employee burnout. Maybe coming to the SEMA, what are the early signs of burnout? How do managers and leaders recognize it and take proactive actions? I think.
Thank you, Satish, for penning down some very interesting facts. While some industries have recognized burnout and some are yet to, but we all sitting here and outside can feel the stress, the good stress and not so great stress as well. I think some of the things that come out very clearly as aspects of burnout, which we all would have seen, and it's not unique to express logistics as well. Of course, competition pressures, they push us to expectation from every employee is to do more, right? But as things that clearly stand out is a term which I recently read, is called presentism. You're present in office, but you're actually disengaged. So you're not absent. So you may be coming to office, one may be coming to work for 40 hours, but actually being productive for 10 to 15 hours in a week. So these are signals which maybe the managers, for the first line of command, should not let go as initial red flags. The second one is, you have the routine, mundane, the regular tasks also taking a hit. If the employee starts making errors in the routine task, you know that something is wrong. Of course, there are multiple factors, but one of the factors could also be burnout, which we can probably identify looking at the worksheet. You'll get, regular reviewing the work chart of every team member is something which gives us a view. The other thing which I feel that the moment, this is a concept which we'll be able to correlate with burnout, is the alignment between the employee's compass and the clock. Something which, the misalignment leads to employee getting irritable, not delivering, making excuses, coming in late, going early, falling sick too often, calling a day off at the last minute. These are actually the moment what the employee is capable of doing and and what he's actually doing doesn't align together, the difference between the compass and the clock, is where the whole burnout session starts. So I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I think most of us would have heard this statement somewhere. You know, it's no longer fun. The culture has changed. These statements actually come from the fact that there is some kind of misalignment that has happened, and the employee now feels the burnout of because it's not the passion and the energy that he was giving earlier, and now the same task sounds less interesting to him. So these are few very generic things that have happened, and just referring back to my organization, which is DTDC Express, and as you all know, we are in a business of express logistics, and sometimes, especially the surge seasons of Rakhi, Diwali, festivals, these are very high pressure moments for all in the organization. Actually, just to give you a reference, these are the times we call all hands on deck. And it's literally all hands on deck for everyone during these times. And what has worked for us is a very personal connect that all the management has from top to the ground, and a very strong relationship management that's worked really well for us in the last 35 years. The ability to speak up and not being judged has helped us to look at these aspects. But having said that, employees we do come around and speak about being tired, being fatigued. And I think these are red flags which are there, and therefore the call for all of us to look into these aspects.
Thanks, Emma. I think you have touched upon very nicely on the early signs. How do we recognize as a leader on the early signs of mental burnout or kind of disengagement in the organization, and these need to be watched carefully by the managers and take preventive and proactive actions.
In fact, Abhay, just to get one data point for everybody, WHO, the World Health Organization, in 2019 identified burnout as one of the international critical diseases, and not as a medical condition, but as an occupational phenomenon. So it's not limited to us as a developing economy, it's a very global phenomenon that's hitting all of us.
So, coming back to you, Neetu, you are dealing with a very high volume of employees, and I understand the kind of pressure and the industry your employees work in. So, what kind of steps you are taking in terms of reducing the stress, providing the mental health benefits or counseling or wellness programs in preventing the burnouts and stress? You wanted to attempt on this? Yeah, please. You want to take? Okay. No worries. Anybody can take.
So what you said is how can organizations redesign work expectations?
Yeah.
So Neetu can join me in on how to redesign this. I think continuing to what Seema said, what led me to understand trust. What Satish also said, the change that got accepted. And we talked about, and we are going to talk about for the next 18 minutes on burnout. Burnout in the stage of psychology is the last step. And then comes the last, which gets demotivating for people, that's chronic burnout. So it actually starts with the honeymoon phase, and a lot of times our new hires now who have less time to enjoy the honeymoon phase, they have to come, get on the desk, get trained, get onto the productivity belt, and my friend Satish would know it better than us, with the kind of machines that they are ready to produce, and DTDC, and I from InnoData. So I was just sharing candidly with my colleagues that InnoData hires like 500 in a month, and they are not, just bachelors. They're like masters, PhD candidates coming in. So nobody talks about the burnout of HR. All right, but we still have to have a smile. So there's burnout, like Seema said that it is everywhere, every industry, even education. So redesigning is definitely important because the patience level is getting reduced. Span of attention, patience, absorbing change, accepting change, everything is minimal. Learning development cycles have come from ILT, reducing the ILT sessions to self-paced learning programs that we have from multiple training partners, and that is wonderfully working well for the generation that we work. So that's one change that we need to redesign. We need to see that who are we really dealing with? Where is the problem? I don't want to really tell my age here, but then Abhay and all of us come from an era where burnout gets ceasefire at the tea stall. Now it doesn't. Tea stall is the start of burnout these days. So picking up those signs where people are really not getting engaged, not wanting to talk, long break hours, less productive, that's where the quick signs of redesigning is really needed. The first step definitely steps into trust, seeing that how they can really work. I remember 2019 when I joined InnoData, we were already talking about, before COVID, the work from home concepts. And I was really surprised to see the senior top management talking about it. However, the managers were not ready. They wanted everybody to sit in front of them and work. Today, they are the voices who say, let my teams work from home. They are super productive. We have no problem in connecting with them. They are always available, and they are taking care about their health. So there are wellness sessions that takes place in my organization. There are EAP programs. There are multiple such well-being activities that has got incorporated in the vein and the process of the organization. So I think such steps are really, really important if you really want your teams to be super productive and engaging, and you want longevity with your people.
You would like to add?
I think I'll cover it up in the next question because it's pretty much correlated. So I just don't want to repeat it again. So if you ask the question, then
No,
because
so-
it will be repetitive. Then.
So we were deliberating on that, how do we release out the burnout, what kind of mental wellness programs or counseling or wellness programs or EAP programs we run out in our organization to support to handle the burnout.
Yes. So before that, I think I wanted to touch upon certain things that becomes highly responsible, or maybe the early signs, as Seema has spoken of burnout. So I think leaders play a pivotal role in that, and leaders are, I relate to it as what is the role of a gardener for his garden, and how the garden looks like, it depends on whom. It depends on the gardener. So leaders play that kind of role in an organization because, our team members or employees, they look up to them. They are their go-to person. They are their idol. How your leader behaves, psychologically we don't realize, but over a period of time, we start behaving exactly like them. Today, I may not like my manager, but few years down the line, if you reflect, not response, but if you reflect, you will see you have most of your traits are similar to your manager. And then we say, oh, my manager was right, I guess, because now I have become like this. Where is it coming from? So in organization, it's a funnel. It's a pyramid we all, see. Everything flows from top to bottom. How the leaders behave, what kind of culture they want to drive, what kind of cultural or the vision roots they want to imbibe in a company. That's what that goes and flows everywhere in the company. So leaders play a very, very important role. If they change, everything will change, and change at a at an accelerated rate, I say. Now coming back to the thing that how we can identify with the wellness and coaching programs. So in my experience, I have seen people who get burnout at first in a company are of which bucket. So when we do employee mapping or a 9-box mapping, I know most of the HR professionals, they know people who are high in performance and high in potential. So people who are at a 5 rating, let's say, they get burnout first. Why? They're always in a race. They always deliver. They work in silos. They work silently. And the last important thing, they don't seek for help. Because they think if I seek help, if I delegate, then my victory will be divided. And I don't want that. So they want to do everything on their own. They don't want anybody. And what they are getting into? A chronic burnout. So, everybody has spoken about the type of burnout. So yes, I agree. Acute stress and acute burnout is okay as we wait for our results. So I have appeared for an exam and I'm waiting for the result. I'm stressed. It's a good stress. Because the moment I get result, I'm passed, I'm happy. But if it is a periodic one, again and again you are getting the similar kind of signs, then it's the time, it's an alarm, it's a red flag. And thereon, the organizations and your HR team, they plays a role to bring wellness program. Wellness program helps to diagnose the burnout signs at an early stage. And when it is identified at an early stage, it can be settled, it can be settled well, with the employees at first. So that is why it is very important. Also, one of the thing, I think coaching sessions, because I'm also a certified coach and I've realized when I was pursuing this, that there are people who have given leadership roles or people management role, but they are not ready for it. We have not brought them up to that level where they can handle teams. What happens then? They, it's like a good cricketer. It's not necessarily can be a good coach or a good team captain. But just because you are a good cricketer, you have been given a team, and then they burn out. First person who gets burnout is a captain. So the people who are, new manager, they struggle a lot. So I think we need to help them, providing them mentoring and coaching session, help them how to handle the emotions at work, how to handle the emotions of, your team. Because if you handle them well, your team will uplift automatically, right? Make it okay to become vulnerable in the team. It is okay to talk about stress. It is okay to talk about your mental problems and your anxieties. It is absolutely okay. So as a leader, we need to make it a new normal, as we did in the COVID. So we all know about the new normal concept. Now I think when we talk about mental, health or employee well-being, we need to say it is absolutely okay. It's normal. It's not a alien thing that we can't talk about. Or nobody will judge you that, oh, you can't handle stress, you always have a mental health issues, so you can't be promoted. No. I think people who gets burnout and recover can be the wonderful leader in the future. So,
Thanks.
thank you.
I think you have put in very right perspective in terms of how do we manage the journey between being ambitious and aspirational individuals and the hard reality of the performance and the culture. And I think this is somewhere where in between we all get into that stressful environment, and if the right kind of a mentorship, support, counseling, coaching is provided, one can travel that journey very easily. Maybe coming back to you, Satish, uh, how do HR plays the role of creating a communication and ensuring that employees do speak out their burnout, their stress, and how do they should not feel stigma about it, because mental wellness or mental health has always been taken in our society as a stigma. So how do we cope up with that situation in our corporate world?
Yeah, I will address it in the context of all organizations, not just what we are doing. Uh, Actually, there are many myths that we carry. The root cause analysis is as important as the solution. The root cause often is not the work or not the, I mean, everybody talks about targets, but actually the root cause is not the target. It comes from another human being or a set of human beings. It comes from the manager, it comes from the organizational politics. So, what I have seen work is if you train managers on how to measure output rather than input, it works as the first step. What I mean by that, I come at 9, I go at 6:30 and I punch in and I punch out. That is actually not my output, that is my input. What I am doing in between is the output. But traditionally, it is managers measure the input, and HR also becomes a party to that by measuring input, because that is easier. Measuring output makes it difficult. Setting clear expectations is difficult. So we actually, I have many times seen training managers on how to set clear expectations and how to give candid feedback itself solves half of the problem. To go to a counseling and psychological unsafe mode. Yeah, but we don't invest much on that because we don't address the root cause. So that is one. Second is HR many times plays the interpreter, makes the mistake of being the interpreter between employee and managers. So, which used to work earlier when there were no channels of communication in between. I'll give one live example which in Maruti Suzuki we are doing. Yeah, our employee engagement survey that happens once in 6 months. And you know, generally what happens, there is a report that HR downloads, makes some pretty slides, and then there is a last question which has any suggestions, any other suggestions, where employees put all their emotions, and who reads them? Suppose we have 16,000 employees, so somebody will do Control F, remuneration, Control F, manager, and then write a few points to the management and say, we have done our job. We have broken that link there of HR being the translator. What we do is, every manager who's got 6 or more employees in their team gets their own dashboard of what their people are saying. Of course, it is anonymous so that the managers can get back at you. They can guess, of course, that who would have written like this. But I'll give an example related to stress. We have territory sales managers who look after dealers, and you know, they say that, okay, somebody has written to their manager that, look, the showroom opens at 8:30, customers come at 8:30, and you are setting up 2-hour meetings every day morning to review the day. How do I start well? And you are actually, the day starts with stress. And it is not coming because of the customer or the work or how to sell more cars. It is coming because somebody is setting up a 2-hour meeting every day. So these are channels where employees earlier did not have ways to express, because there was fear, because the digital medium provides us this comfort of anonymity, but also to speak up. Yeah, and the most important thing is to take action on them. That is where you can't be digital. Solving problems, you have to be human. We actually not only pick up those insights and talk to individual employees who raise them, but also take action against the manager. I mean, just while coming here, we were discussing about a regional sales manager being made a team member again just because of people issues. Just because he never dealt with people well, just because he verbally abused individuals. And when action happens like this, employees get a signal that, okay, things are changing. We made last year all our vertical heads, and vertical heads are very senior people in an auto company, the sales head, service head, manufacturing head, quality head, production head, write emails to all employees along with the CHRO saying, okay, you have said this in the engagement survey, we will do A, B, C out of that in 6 months' time. That itself gave a lot of positivity to people that, okay, things are changing. Now, whatever we write has a power. It is important to convey that employees hold that power so that they can use these channels. Then only the end result, which is setting up a EAP. I think you spoke about EAP, Parul, that employee assistance programs, all of you would have known that employees can access confidentially, professional psychologists can counsel them or their family members, so that whether it's a parenting topic or a manager stress or something else, relationship issue, they can, before they burn out, they can address it, and organizations pay for it, right? So, but at the same time, why to reach that stage? That is like exit interview. Why to conduct an exit interview and rather than a stay interview when you know the problem beforehand? So this is what I summarize should be the role of HR in this topic.
Yeah, so since time is up, maybe I'll just dwell upon the last question and leave it for the other panelists to debate on that. How do we all are working in a work from home and hybrid environment, and how do we overcome the digital fatigue or always on kind of a syndrome which people used to observe in the work from home or a hybrid environment? So how do we overcome that, and what kind of strategies organizations are adopting to release that kind of burnout in hybrid and work from home environment? So maybe open to all three of you.
Okay, I'll go first. So I think hybrid or work from home came into picture during COVID only. Before that, we didn't know, even I didn't know actually how to work from home. And that shift had taken a toll on so many things. So the first expectation was you should always be shown either green or red in your teams. If you are yellow for more than 15 minutes, you will be judged, right? So no matter I'm working or not, I'll be green or red, just hovering on my laptop, right? So we need to understand, are the employees busy or productive? What are we measuring, right? It has no correlation between these two, right? I can work for 4 hours a day and I can be highly productive. But I can be busy for 10 hours and my productivity is at toss. There is a high, chances of that. So in a hybrid mode, I think a lot of leaders and the people felt uncomfortable that I can't see my team. I can't keep an eye on them. What are they doing, right? And that gives an edge. And they keep calling most of the time. Has it been done? I haven't received your email. So micromanagement comes in picture, which I think we have to keep it aside. Micromanagement doesn't help anybody, not even an individual who's commanding it. Second, I think the important thing is empowerment. Let your team feel that they can take ownership of something. Otherwise they will become doers, right? And when you become doers, you will be able to deliver what is being asked from you, but you will never be able to deliver what you can. Your true potential will never come out because you are only taking commands. You are not using your brains. And that is what burnout do to us, because we stop thinking. We stop taking decision. Our decision power is poor. I've seen in the biggest companies, people who are sitting at a very senior level and they're just waiting for their senior to give command. They can't take small decision because they are in a fear. What if I take a wrong decision? We are not allowed to make mistakes. So I think all of these things comes all together and it zero down to one thing. Even in a hybrid mode, it's okay. My team is delivering, and even they are slow, they are not able to deliver. Do not focus on why, focus on what. What is the problem? The moment you change your question, your team will feel more, connected to you, and they have higher trust in you. So I think that's
I think Neetu, you summed it beautifully, and just tying up all the points that we discussed during this discussion. Eventually, it boils down to the manager putting effort towards building trust with the team. whether hybrid or in the room, in person. I think the fact that there is micromanagement that kind of surged up during COVID itself speaks volumes about the manager feeling the need to control. I think while controlling towards output sounds reasonable, but what Satish said, controlling task will actually shut down the employee completely. Somewhere acknowledging that and respecting the individual employee, not just as quantity one employee, but as a person whose both his productivity and well-being matters to the organization is the acknowledgement and effort that we need to focus on.
Just a couple of points there. I think it's important that we think from a different perspective, and that's something that we try to implement on a regular basis with my organization, that is reverse mentoring. You know, engaging everybody. At times, people do not think that, you know, they can do, and rightly said that they wait for the instructions to come in. So even while that we do not have, and at times we get used to those firefighting days, and if those firefighting days vanish away, then we think what to do next. So creating that vision that you're not just working for an organization, but you're working for your own professional, personal growth is what managers and leaders are to build the kind of culture within. And once they do it, they will not just be engaged team members, employees to the organization, but they will always stay engaged with you. And that shows how we stay still connected with our mentors. All that they do is they ensure that we are connected, brain working, and always oiled our engines with thoughts, and that's what we leave you with some food for thought for not letting your people burn out. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I think in the interest of time, and organizers are continuously looking at me to wind up, I would like to sum up that we had a very interesting deliberation on a very relevant topic, and I am sure that audience may have gained some insights from this deliberation, and in fact we all have learned from each other, and if we want to deliberate further, maybe in the break time we all will be available, we can catch up, and so I don't have time for question answer, so we can catch up during the break time for any kind of question answer. And once again, thanks all panelists and audience. Thank you.
All right, everyone, let's give the entire panel a huge round of applause. Please be with us for another minute. And may I invite Mr. Suresh Kumar DN from Tesseract Learning. Sir, please join in and present a small token of appreciation for your presence here. And thank you for giving us your precious time here today.